A Malawi university student is making his mark on the global stage with an innovation he calls the Padoko charger. The device enables people living in rural areas to charge their phones using an unlikely source, the bicycle. The invention won Mixon Faluweki first place in the idea stage of the 2014 Global Innovation Through Science and Technology competition in Morocco. And joining me right now is Ndiho of VOA's English to Africa. Thank you so much for joining me. How did you find this guy?
Interesting question. I found him on Facebook, and then later on I decided to send him a friend request. I replied, and we started the chat. A couple months later, I got on a plane, went to Malawi. I landed in Lilongwe, the capital. Then I started talking to him. He told me he's in another place called Zomba, Malawi. It's about 300 miles from Lilongwe. Then I was like, okay, how do I get this guy? I said, you know what? I rented a car, drove out there. It took me about, 6 hours to get there, and finally got the guy. He's like, you know what? Oh, my staff is at the university. Then we had to drive another 60 miles to go to the university to see his innovation.
All right. So we're talking about this invention that charges phones using the bicycles. How does that work?
I mean, it's very, very basic technology. Anybody can do it. Grandpas, young moms, young people can do it. It's just pedaling a bicycle. Like, let's say if you wanted to ride a bicycle, the way you pedal, that's what generates the power. There is a simple thing that it's called the motor that rolls on the wheel. And so when you pedal, that thing rolls on the wheel and it produces enough energy that generates power into the battery charger. He has a converter. He has all it figured out. So whenever you pedal, it transfers the current into usable energy that charges the phone.
So how does it work? You take a cell phone charger and you plug it somewhere in the bicycle.
The power goes into like a charger, and rather it goes into like a storage facility. Then from the storage facility to the charger, because it has to be compatible for the phone, optimal for the phone. So what he does is there are two stages. Power generated goes into like a storage place, then from the storage place to the phone, and you can charge any type of phone, any tablet. He's even looking at charging like a PC on it.
Like laptops and PCs?
Absolutely.
All right. And Android phones work, iPhones, all kinds of phones can be
I
charged.
tried my phone a couple times, and within a couple minutes, it just charged. I was out of battery, and when I started charging, it just charged. By the time I finished the interview, my phone was at 100%.
Did you get a chance to ask the gentleman how did he come up with this idea?
Well, Malawi, people in Malawi predominantly use bicycles as a means of getting around, transportation. So he figured out that most of the people who have these bicycles also have phones, but they didn't have a way of charging phones because they don't have enough electricity later on, enough to charge their phones. So he said, you know what, if I can come up with an innovation that can help these guys who are always riding their bicycles to charge their phones, then he came up with the idea of the Padoko charger. So it's a very simple, basic technology that anybody, if you have it on your phone, you can charge anything. And his goal is really to, because people use it for transportation, his goal is to have those people who use those bicycles as taxis to charge phones for their clients while they are. So it's a business. When you look at it, it has a business component to it.
It's a great idea. In 30 seconds, if you can tell me any idea when this will go into full-scale production?
He needs funding. I don't think he has enough funding yet. And secondly, it's still in its infancy. He needs to develop the technology so that it can be adapted by any manufacturer. So I think it's going to be a while before he goes into production.
Fantastic story. Thank you so much for joining us, Ndiho, VOA's English to Africa service.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you.